Well, sorry in advance, but after this segment, you're going to be hungry. We enjoy featuring delicious recipes and cooking techniques that you can try out at home. In this segment, Jessica gets a lesson on preparing a tender and juicy beef brisket. Take a look.
We are in for a real treat today. Executive Chef Justin Addison with the Williamsburg Lodge is joining us today with a delicious creation. It's great to see you, Chef. Thanks for being back with us.
Great seeing you again, too. Good morning, and thank you for having us on.
It's absolutely our pleasure. And look at that, the star of the show, front and center, right there in front of you.
We're going to be working with this guy here, definitely.
Let's talk about our recipe today. What are we up to?
All right, so what we're going to do today is we're going to highlight an item off of our Labor Day curbside menu, which will be served here at the Lodge. And we're going to be focused on the smoked brisket aspect of that menu. And we're going to run through just on little steps that we take here and how we make the brisket happen.
Well, that will be fantastic. That seems like that would be a cut of meat that could feed a huge crowd.
Yes, you'd be surprised.
Yeah, you expect a lot of folks coming through with curbside. That's been working really well for you.
Yeah, it has, and we're also open inside, but some diners would prefer to still stay with curbside or sit out on our patio, which is also going to be open too. Yeah. And inside if you're comfortable there.
Well, I think it looks fantastic. Take us through the steps. I know that probably does shrink a little bit during the cooking process, so maybe that's the size that we should be starting with to begin with.
Yeah, this right here is about a 12-pound brisket. If you go to your butcher and you can ask them in advance, usually you can get one. You're looking for a nice amount of fat cap, and I have taken off some of the fat cap here so we can move right into it. So you get your piece of brisket that you want to work with, and I have a spice rub here that we made. And this is our spice rub. We use this for ribs, briskets, chicken. You can do it on pretty much anything. But this is a sweet, salty, savory rub that you can find at any store, your favorite place. Probably want to look for a nice local Virginia one. You know what I mean? Support local. And we're going to take this and we're going to rub it. We're going to rub it into this brisket. And again, this is just a blend of some spices, a lot of salt, a lot of sugar. And what we're doing is we're just rubbing deep into the brisket with this rub. After you're done rubbing this, you want to get all into the meat here and everything like that. And when you rub yours down to your liking, you want to put this away in the fridge for about 12 to 24 hours.
Okay, that was going to be my question. How important is it to get that on, and how long does it need to sit?
Yeah, it is very important to cake it on, let it sit, and I'll show you with our finished product why it's so important. You want that nice char, and it's a big piece of meat, so you want to get the flavors penetrated into the meat as much as possible. So after you're done rubbing this brisket down, you put it away, like I said, and then you're going to pull it out. And you want to get it to room temperature before you start cooking. Real simple, when you pull it out, leave it out on the counter, sometimes about an hour, hour and a half, while you're getting your grill set up and everything like that. I'm a charcoal grill guy, so I'm going to get a charcoal grill going. And the brisket's going to be put on indirect heat if you're using a charcoal grill. Now, if you got a gas grill, it will be the same exact way as with the charcoal grill. And if you got a smoker, you could just set the smoker to a temperature of 225. All right, and the same thing with the charcoal grill. You want to get around 225. And if you put this cold piece of meat onto the grill, it's going to shock the temperature of your grill. So if it's cold, you want to keep the temperature up around 230, 250 at the beginning of the cooking process.
I feel like seasoned grillers know exactly what you're talking about. I'm all ears. I know you shared the spice rub recipe with us, and I think I could put that together and then hand it off to the high performance griller.
Yes, of course. And this rub, I make an abundance of it all the time at home, at work, because we use it so much. And if you use the recipe that we have there, I know it's a lot of little ingredients, but if you make a big batch, it'll last you quite a while.
So that heads to the smoker. And then if you're doing that, about how long does it take on the indirect heat?
On the indirect heat, it could take up to 8 hours, depending on the size of your brisket. So about 3 hours in, you want to use the probe, and you want to probe it until it gets about to 150. Right around there, and I have some instructions, and everyone's got their own little tricks, but on mine, I like wrapping it, putting it back on, but you really want to get to a temperature of 203 degrees on your brisket, and that depends on the size of your brisket. And you want to keep charging with smoke the entire time, probably every 30 minutes or until the smoke runs out. And once that happens, 203 degrees, you want to take your brisket off. And I like to wrap it in butcher paper and let it rest. And you want it to rest to about 150 degrees. And this will help set all the juices in the brisket. So everything will settle out. So by the time you cut it, it's tender, it's juicy, and it's delicious.
So you said get it up to 203. When it's done there, you take it off that indirect heat, you're wrapping it up, and then you're letting it come to about 150. And that's when you know you've won at the grilling.
Yes,
Okay.
That's exactly when you know, when you cut it open and you see it. But 203 is the perfect temperature. So a lot of people 197 to 205, somewhere in there, but 203 is sweet spot.
Okay, 203. Okay. Then what's next after we hit 150?
So when you hit 150, I am going to show you the bark that we created, right, which is right here. At 203, and once it rests to 150, this is where you'll be at right here. And this is a beautiful bark, and I don't know, I wish you could feel it, but the fat that we left on there, it's nice and moist, and it's sinking right into the brisket. So I was gonna cut you open a piece so maybe you can see some of the juicy goodness that's in here. And I don't know if we can get that on there, but this is definitely juicy at 150 still.
Well, it sounds like the orders are coming in right now. People are calling in to make sure that they get on the list for that smoked brisket. We appreciate you sharing it with us, Justin. That looks incredible. And what's so amazing is how much it does shrink during that cooking process. Right now, that looks like you could have a great, nice little family gathering or a good sized group, but it certainly is not as big as when you started.
No, not at all. We probably have, I mean, it's probably about 75, or it's probably about 25% loss on there during the cooking process. And after that, if you don't have enough people to eat this, you can use this for anything. So what we take with leftovers, we serve over at Chowning's Tavern in the historic area here at Colonial Williamsburg, and they make trenchers with it. We also do this every single week in Sweet Tea and Barley on Wednesdays. We sell this. You can come in, dine, curbside pickup, or dine on our patio if it's nice outside.
Terrific. A great local resource right here, and a delicious one at that. Chef, it's been great talking with you. Thanks for the recipe.
Great talking to you too, and thank you so much for having us back. And I hope everyone enjoys their Labor Day free of cooking.
Absolutely. And I tell you what, you said, I wish that you could touch that bark on the brisket. I wish I could be sampling bites right now, but I'll just have to wait till it's time to pick up.
It's fantastic. The bark is where it's at, and making sure that you keep it on the grill that long to that temperature is where the juiciness comes from.
Thank you so much. We'll talk with you again soon.
All right. Thank you.
Appreciate it. We'll be sure to share all the information so that you can learn more about everything that's happening at the Williamsburg Lodge and some more of those delicious recipes from Chef Justin Addison.